they say think outside the box, right? But it's like, okay, I'm thinking outside the box. Then someone like, oh, it's another box, and it's another box, and then it's another box, and then it's the freedom to go, there's no box. I'm not in the box.
Welcome back to another episode of Finally Motivated. Today I have my friend Dash Hudson. I'm very excited for this episode because I've known Dash for over 10 years now. Back when one of my first businesses, I was a marketing consultant, and we started working together with one of his brands, and he's just been a truly inspirational person in my life. Even though we haven't seen each other for a while, when we come back, it's like nothing, no time has passed. He is a inspiration to not only me, but millions of people. He is a father, and he is a big proponent of healing out loud. And he also helps encourage and empower others to do the same and heal along their journey in their own way. So Dash, thanks for coming on the show.
Nah, man, it's a true blessing and pleasure, man. Pleasure to be here. It's always good to see you, man. It's always good to build with you.
Yeah. So I'm very curious about just who you are and the way that you view life, because I think it's very interesting. But before we really get there, how did we get here? How did you become who you are now?
Exploring, and just going on a journey. So I always was creative. My mother would get a new radio. I'm the kid in the room that I'm just looking at the radio, but I'm investigating it at the same time. So I like the radio, but man, I think that radio could be louder. So I'm taking my mother brand new radio in the room. I'm breaking the speakers open, connecting some speakers that I found on the side of somebody's street or curve, and I'm putting wires, and I got the radio loud in my room. Or I was the kid stealing cable. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't had no cable, but I'm slicing the wire on the side of my house. I got cable in my room.
You had a splitter?
Yeah, no, it wasn't no splitter. It was like, you talking technology. And I would just create this stuff and think. It was no way I knew this stuff worked, right? So I had to explore. So I would cut the cable wire open. Then I got a regular wire. I'm like, oh, it don't work. Then I'm realizing, oh, you got to get another cable wire. I remember like back in the day, my sisters and them, they used to jump rope with cable wires. So you had to get another cable wire to connect to a cable wire, because it wouldn't just work with a regular wire. So creatively, and I know that was a little bit on the quote unquote illegal side, whatever the case, but I was always just a creative young man. As far as education, as far as school, I always struggled because my behavior had me going in and out of school, so I never learned formal education. But being intuitive, being again, that creativity always just allowed me to explore. And I never was like quote unquote indoctrinated to like put me in a perspective or put me in a box of who I'm supposed to be. So I just always was just in my mind this person that seen the world completely different, or sparred with ideas and thoughts. So the version of me today is a little bit of that. When you talk about creativity, when you talk about insight, when you talk about like my intrinsic nature to consistently travel in my mind, to explore, to challenge myself in every essence of what we call ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, how many versions of you can you be, or how many versions are you allowing yourself to be, right? Because sometimes we become a parent and we never unbecome a parent. We remain a parent for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
We remain a husband for the rest of our life. We remain broken or low self-esteem for the rest of our life. when there's so many different versions of yourself if you allow yourself to break through the yous that you think you are. So
Yeah.
even this me right now is temporary. You know what I'm saying? And I'm consistently changing my worlds like outfits. I could be better. I could do better, man. Now, what would I look like in this? What would I look like if I travel with this? What if I look like if I mix me with this? And
Hmm.
it's like the Facebook idea, how Facebook shows you memories of your thoughts.
Hmm.
So even though it said what's on your mind, that's temporary. So what was on my mind 5 years ago is not on my mind today. It may be
That's right.
similar, but I see the world different. I think different. I feel different. I have a different point of view and a different angle
Yeah.
of life. So I'm not trapped in one version of me.
So pivoting is one of the most crucial skills that's needed in entrepreneurship, but it's also difficult for some people, and it's also an art form.
Mm.
It's like a muscle that you build. How do you gain the confidence to go ahead and just change your identity or change your perspective? And, one day I'm doing this and the next day I'm going to just try a whole nother business. How do you gain the confidence to do that?
The idea is the same, right? So I don't care if you had a Nokia. I don't care if you had a Sidekick. Okay, no matter what the device did, it was the concept was like, okay, at the end of the day, who can I call? Right.
Mhm.
So even though now we got iPhone 15, 16s, and we're doing multiple different things on this device, but it's still the core concept that this is a phone. Even
Yeah,
though you can do math, we don't call the phone a calculator,
that's
right?
true.
We don't call the phone a computer. The phone is still a phone, but the access and the creativity has changed. To the core, I'm still
Connecting.
operating, right? I'm
Yeah,
still operating. I'm still that little boy that would just break open my mother's speakers,
yeah.
or that young man in creativity. Because my creativity, I always say a successful adult is the child who died. Meaning, like, when we become adults, oh, stop doing that. You're grown or you're this. Like, we think we have to stop living. We think we have to stop creating. And it's like I always tell people, when is the last time you did something for the first time?
Man.
Right. And because we become this permanent version of ourselves and ideas and creativity, or in entrepreneurship, if you want to say, like, we have no idea what we can do. A lot of times we stick to it because um, whenever you're acquiring new information, you have to strip yourself down and allow yourself to be vulnerable again.
That can be scary.
Yeah. To do something all over again, to gain a new identity, because when people see you, they see me, they connect us to what we did in the past or what we do. Oh,
Yeah,
that's Dash, the director. Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
Dash, King Na's father.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's Dash, the speak. Like, it's like, okay, what does this dude do? How is he?
Yeah,
How do I put him in a box? What do I? How do I title this person? And it's
yeah.
like,
You
nah,
can't.
man. Yeah, I'm free. I'm free to do. I'm free to create. I'm free to live. So if you're not afraid to just equip yourself, if you're not afraid to change, if you're not afraid to evolve,
Mhm.
right? Because it's that caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly, right? It's like, okay, if you haven't went through that transformation for yourself, you only know how to identify that butterfly when it was in the same stage,
Yeah.
if you met it in the butterfly stage. But if I see you as a caterpillar, I know what you
Hmm.
went through. Oh man, you went to the cocoon
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, oh, you was hanging upside down. Oh, you was in
Hmm.
a dark space. Oh, you made it through.
Yeah,
You got your wings too.
yeah,
But imagine a caterpillar meeting the butterfly, and they don't relate, right?
yeah.
Because they're still trapped in that identity, and they still remember you where they remember you from. But like creativity, innovation, evolution, so if you're not afraid to just go through evolution, that evolution, the fear of the unknown to get to whatever journey that you're trying to get to, that's the beautiful relationship with getting to know who you're becoming, you know.
So yeah, but for some reason you don't seem afraid. Because I know that like most of us, we have the fear of the unknown,
Mm.
but you don't seem afraid to go ahead and just see what life has to offer for you next. Is that intrinsic? Is that something where something kind of forced you to grow into that, or am I reading it wrong?
Uh, the funny thing, like before I answer a question, I hear it in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, okay, how is this going to sound to the world? But then it's
Mm.
like to even put a new thought or a new idea in the world, you just got to say it. I'm related to fear. I grew up with it my whole life. It's been in my house. It's been a part of my journey. So it's not foreign to me, right? So because I know it, because I recognize it, because I identify with it, because I'm connected to it, I'm not afraid to spar with it. I honor it. I respect it.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna see it on me. When I was a young man, like I lived on blocks where we didn't know if the car coming down the block was gonna shoot up the building. You know what I'm saying? Like I lived that. I lived, I
Yeah.
lived standing in like my friend's blood that was just talking to us yesterday. And like he died, but we were so emotionally disconnected in survival mode
Mm-hmm.
and so disconnected and detached that we're not even processing like, man, like our friend is dead and they ain't even clean the blood up and we talking standing in the blood. Like, so what can I compare to that fear? What am I thinking about in some entrepreneur? What? Like, I'm not thinking about no business, no idea that can equal the fear that I've been through of living and surviving and navigating life. So this fear that people be afraid of to change, to grow, to create what they gonna say on the internet, like that's not fear to me.
Yeah, it doesn't compare.
It don't compare, and nor nor
Excuse me.
nor am I afraid to spar with it. Like I honor the feedback of life. When people share, when people communicate, that's their feedback of their interpretation of what the world is or what their interpretation of who you are.
Yeah,
And it's all good.
but here's another thing that I've noticed. Um, excuse me. So even though you are very familiar with fear, you also remain connected to a sort of childlike imagination.
Mm.
And I do feel like that sort of confidence to imagine and believe that you can create something and put it into the shared reality, you're tapping into a an infinite source in a way. And it does require a sort of setting and environment. Where do you think that comes from? Your ability to, despite your environment, you persevere and create and imagine and bring something beautiful into the world.
I love that, man. Download this concept, right? I said the most people in prison are free, right? So people think like people in jail or prison, oh, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. They're locked up, they're in prison. But we think we're free because we're in a society that we don't understand. A society is a mental prison, an emotional prison, a physical prison. You can't truly do what you want. A society is governed by rules, right? And when you look at a circus, right, the elephant is doing what it's supposed to do until it leaves the circus. If the elephant leaves the circus and acts like it acts in the circus in its natural habitat, is other elephants looking like, man, what's wrong with this dude? Like, right? So if you take how we conduct ourselves and the things that we do in this quote unquote society, and even if you just when you talk about I'll give you just this simple concept, like Brittany Griner, right? How,
Mm-hmm.
how she went to Russia, and in that society, no, they're not. You can't smoke marijuana, right? So whether you say laws, right, the concept of laws, the concept of governing a society, right? Religion, culture. These are all ideas and these are all concepts. These are all perspectives. And I'm not saying like, or a belief system, right? So sometimes we're prisoners of our own mind. You have people that won't upload, and I'm gonna just be transparent to like bring this thought to life, right?
Mhm.
You have women that won't upload a piece of content without makeup,
Mm.
right? Not only the physical makeup, but without the makeup of the story or the idea of the personality that they're uh, portraying themselves to be.
Mm.
You have people that don't know how to exist without their position, right? So we seen this during the pandemic, how we seen celebrity vanish. We all in the house. We're all the same.
Mhm.
So many divorces, so many broken families because now that was the one time life stripped away the profession. Life stripped away the travel.
A lot of masks.
It stripped away the identity. It stripped away the things that people thought they had and thought they had control over. So when I say the most people in prison are free, that we are all behind the bars of something. So creativity, creating, being brave enough, because they say think outside the box, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, okay, I'm thinking outside the box. But then someone like, oh, it's another box, and it's another box, and then it's another box, and then it's the freedom to go, there's no box.
Mm.
I'm not in the box. Right? It's the same thing when they say, oh, there's crabs in the barrel. How did crab get in the barrel? Who put it there?
Mhm.
Right? So it's this concepts we live in that if you're governed by the concept, you don't realize that you already started with someone's intellectual property. So even when we look at the world and we go, I don't like this about the world, but we don't understand the world is a concept and we're living in someone's intellectual property. So even if you change the ideas and strip down the ideas, people will go, I want to change everything. And it's like, I don't like this about the world. I don't like this. I don't like that. And I go, "Hey, man, what day is it? What time is it?" And you go, oh, I know what time it is. You don't understand that's someone's intellectual property, time, day, month. So we like you got to start it all from scratch,
And you really can't do that.
right? No, I'm not here to say you can't. Who's like, that's a dumb idea.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not here to fight your reality. I'm here to live my temporary reality.
Mhm.
If I believe in my idea, if I believe in my concept, if I believe in my creativity, if I believe in something that I want to add, because everything that we identify as normal, someone was brave enough to put that idea in the world. But at the time that idea was being implemented or introduced to the world, we don't understand
Yeah.
how many times that person was shut down or told that that was a crazy idea.
Yeah.
But it starts with the confidence to say, I'm going to give birth to the idea. And so many people abort their ideas or destroy their ideas or kill their ideas, not only creative ideas, but the idea of themselves. So many people are afraid to live and walk outside and be the same person they are behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So they are in the prison of another person's opinion of who they're supposed to be. So that child, I'm the same kid that used to open my mother's radio
Mhm. You just got a little older.
to the world.
Yeah.
I like, and of course, it's trauma mixed with that. It's
Mhm.
trauma, pain, and the perception again, because we all living in perceptions. We all living in boxes. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not mad at the older white lady that crossed the street when she see me, right? Because I'm not me to her.
Mhm.
I'm me to the images that she watched on TV
Yeah.
that looks like a representation of who I am. So I was like, oh, I understand. I understand the programming that was invested that went into her fear.
So you try not to take things personally.
It's a waste of time. Once I
Yeah.
take it personal, it's a part of my life.
Mhm.
Once I take it personal, it's a part of my movie, right? So we say that a lot, but we don't understand the intricate details of that.
Mhm.
If I'm writing my movie and I'm living my life and I walk outside, it's up to me who plays a role in my life. And I always say, don't give people that supposed to have one line in your life, or don't give extras a starting role in your life. If I'm driving on the highway, I'm just driving. Someone on the side of me sticking their middle finger out, yelling, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, I see what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But now if I stop, if I roll the window down, if I stick my middle finger back, now this person is in my movie.
Yeah. You're getting a bigger role than they should.
Yeah, and it's like I'm okay with you being the extra. I'm okay with you being mad. I'm okay with you sticking your middle finger up. I'm not here to fight your reality. You know, like that's what we all have to understand. The minute you take it personal,
Yeah.
you make it personal.
I think I've had that perspective for a while as well. And for me, it stemmed from I'm just a control freak for my life. Like I want to be the director,
Yeah.
and I know that this is all I know.
Mm.
And so no one's going to consider the trajectory of the variables and the decisions and choices that I make more than I do.
Mm.
And so like it just made me recognize that if I want to study becoming a doctor, for example, and I'm doing it because my parents want me to, I'm gonna have to do that.
Mm.
So if I end up having to spend all these years, all this bandwidth and money, I got to make sure I can control this narrative and like make sure that I like it.
Mm.
Once I really committed to that idea, it it just poured over into everything else in my life.
Mm.
Um, and I think that gave me the confidence to pivot when I needed to, even when everyone else thought it was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna quit my job. What? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go into commercial real estate. I'm gonna be a motivational coach. I'm gonna invest in this property.
Mm-hmm.
And an idea that you have will always be a bad idea to a group of people, but it also has the possibility to be an amazing idea
Mm-hmm.
to a different group of people.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to find the people,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly, be confident that that you agree with this
Mm-hmm.
and it's good enough for you to try. But I want
But look,
go ahead.
some people are so afraid to make the mistake that will ruin their life
Yeah,
that they never tap into the mistake that would change their life.
because they still have the habit of being afraid to make a choice.
But even like when you talk about psychology, right? So neurological pathways,
Mm-hmm.
I always say technology mimics human behavior.
Yeah,
Same way we have a digital algorithm, we have a mental and emotional algorithm. So you're not going to wake up tomorrow with a new explore page. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be stock and like you may randomly see a pop up, and that's social media doing what social media does. But tomorrow you're going to look for the things that your mind knows that you recognize and identify with, right? So we have to consistently change the algorithm of our life if we want a different life, right? Our explore page, that's our parents, that's our family, our friends. We know, we're used to, right? But it's like, okay, if you want to change your environment, you have to be intentional about changing your environment. If you want to change your circumstances, you have to be intentional about changing your circumstances. Like Africa, Japan, New Zealand, the rest of the world is not going to find you. You have to search and find new territory, new destinations, new spaces. I remember I was a retail manager, and I remember a customer came in and he was asking for shorts, right? And I'm like, I just see them both laughing, and I'm like, and they're like, that stupid guy, he came in here asking for shorts, right? It's the winter time. But my employees, like, they never been anywhere. So they don't understand that summertime is a flight away.
yeah.
This guy that came in asking for shorts travels.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't travel, you're laughing at a guy that asks for shorts in the wintertime. You know what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that we are the people that understand that we are the angles in our life. I always say your perception and perspective create your reality. Where is someone viewing you from? That's why it's a waste of time to be offended how someone sees you. If I don't believe in myself, then you know I don't believe in you. You know? So sometimes we get offended that people is like Oh, you disrespect me. That's their mind. That's how their mind is operating. That's how they feel. That's how their being is being governed. Someone that hates you, someone that want negativity for you or darkness over your life, that's where they are. They're giving you their existence. They're feeding you the feedback that lives inside of them.
Yeah.
You don't have to be offended, nor should it connect if that's not your reality. So, like, you have to literally treat life, you know, like when I say technology mimics human behavior, reverse it, right? Sometimes you have to hack your future, right? So they don't need social media today operates in a way where they had to do something illegal, right? When the last time you seen a pop up?
It's been a while.
They don't need to do pop ups because they created algorithms. How many times a day do you see random things that you didn't volunteer to see?
Not that often.
No. On the explore page, you're gonna see like random things. Like, man,
Hmm.
why are they showing me this?
Oh, but that's every time I open up the app.
See,
I don't go there for a purpose.
but
I
but
go up and I see surprise me.
so now if I could create an app, now they're gonna call that an ad when that's really a pop up. A pop ups was ads that they hacked into your software and on your computer. Now I don't got to do that. I'm gonna just make this app called Angry Bird, and you're gonna be attracted to the game, and you're gonna have fun now. And now I'm gonna tell you, hey, I need your permission for this and for that and for that. You're gonna give me your permission because you want to put this filter on your face. You want to upload pictures of your friends on the beach, and now I have access to show you whatever I want to show you. Now I have access to listen to your conversation as soon as you put your phone down. So you was just talking about furniture, and now I have this contract with this furniture company. The minute I hear you mention it, boop, now this furniture ad pop up on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that a lot of us are just on autopilot. Not that autopilot is bad, but sometimes we need to reconfigure our autopilot settings
Mm-hmm.
because we may not like where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a lot of energy, bandwidth, and just effort to stop and then shift and then change your environment so that whoever you're around also supports and empowers this new version of yourself. So I created this framework for my coaching business called the Intention Map, and the the goal of it is so that we can get you out of autopilot,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can reconfigure it and then make intentional steps towards something that you actually want. I've seen so many people just do things because of the programming that they've had and never really started to take control of their movie,
Mm-hmm.
be the director and say, you know what, I know I've learned this from my parents, I know I've learned this from my school, I know I've learned this from my friends. um, Out of everything that I've seen, I want to do this. And then we tell ourselves, you know what, it's not the right time,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm not cut out for this. But you've recognized that you can grow into whoever you want. But there's a lot of us who just don't. Um, have you ever experienced a situation where you faced opposition from with an idea or um, an identity that you want to create and push into the shared reality, and it was just a little bit more opposition than you expected?
It just depends on the goal. So I could say yes and no. Uh, so I always say like you can't throw a caterpillar in the air and force it to fly,
Yeah.
right? Because growth takes time. So when you talk about an idea, you gave birth to something. So even when like when you're a parent, you may sit back and you look at your children and you go, I didn't expect him to do that,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm disappointed that they did that. I didn't teach them that, right? So this is a life that's going through twists and turns, and the feedback from your children may be complete opposite from the information, time, attention, and love that you invested,
Hmm.
right? But it don't mean that they won't be the person that you anticipated them to be,
Yeah.
right? So the thing about life and the thing about people perceiving your idea, your talent, your gift, um, people may not have the eyes to recognize and see what it is that you're implementing into the world. So if you have a goal and if you believe in a concept, it's about you creating and carving that idea and feeding that idea until it makes sense and resonates to the rest of the world the way that it inspired you.
Yeah.
Because whether you talk about ideas, whether we talk about images, whether we talk about creativity, whether we talk about a conversation, whether we talk about me and you seeing an accident, based on where you are, based on where I am, we have two different perspectives of the same event.
Yeah.
And now me and you telling the same story is interpreted different. Oh, you seen this angle. I seen this angle. Now you tell somebody, I tell somebody, it's two completely different things that happen. Now music, you put out a song, I put out a song,
Hmm.
right? We could have the same beat. Our inspiration of the song is completely different, right?
We should
You're
try that one day.
you're living life, I'm living life.
Hmm.
Same environment, right? You you got a brother, same mother, same father,
Hmm.
two different, completely different existence
Yeah.
experiences. You're born in an environment. I'm born in the same environment. We come out completely different, right? You're in a classroom. I'm in a classroom. You learn. You get on the road. I'm in here struggle. So that's life in a nutshell when it comes to understanding if you believe in something. That's why it's consistent marketing. It's consistent marketing of someone feeding you an idea. You hear a song for the first time, man, this song suck. You hear it again, man, this song suck. You hear it again. Now you mumbling the song, you
Hmm.
rapping the song, you
Hmm.
know the lyrics.
Yeah.
Now you telling somebody about the song. It's your favorite song. It's the consistency of the quote unquote bad idea.
Mm.
So that's life. Let me show him again. Let me show him again. Let me feed him again. Let me give it to him again. Even if it's a bad product. Let me show him again. Let me create music around the idea. Let me create a color around the idea. Let me create an image around the idea. Let me put the M over the highway so now when your kids see the M, and let me put a song to the M, ba da ba ba ba. So now your kid hear the song, he think of the commercial. I'm hungry, Dad. I want McDonald's, right? It's the consistency of the idea. It's the consistency of whatever it is you're feeding to the world. Because if you create something new, how can it, like this new idea, this new song? That's why you hear the same five songs,
Hmm.
because now the radio got a playlist. It's not like the early '80s where they value just creativity and something being new and something being creative. If it's new, how do I listen to this?
Yeah.
How do I? How do I? That's why I like Jay Z introduced Kanye. Hey, make
Hmm.
me a Jay Z kind of beat, because now we're used to this drum pattern. Now we're used to the sounds.
Yeah.
I worked in retail. I remember when skinny jeans came in, right? Like,
Mm.
oh, you look weird. Oh, you sound like this. Like, but you have to be bold enough to let your idea live, right? So everything that I created, everything that I introduced, like when I was working with my son, what is this kid doing? A kid speaking, talking intelligently, right? He wasn't invited on the scene with grown-ups right away. That was like weird. What is this kid talking about? That was a contradiction to the world, to society. Kids are better seen than heard. That's a contradiction to ignorant, quote unquote, black people. And black people are like, wow, this kid, we got racist comments, we got all kind of feedback. But no, let's keep pushing it. Let's keep pushing this idea. Let's keep pushing it. Love, respect, integrity, like the same thing that was going on in the household. My son is a contradiction to my neighborhood. He's a
Yeah.
contradiction. He contradiction to what I knew. I told my son that, man, we was young at the same time, man. I've been beating you up, going in your pockets every day, right? My son's confidence would have triggered me, right? But he is a contradiction to my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. It's like, okay, that's where we started traveling, Namibia, Tanzania. My son, the only kid on the stage, but his wisdom was 50.
Yeah.
His speech, his message, his confidence, his integrity, his strength was freezing people,
Mm.
right? So, you know, you're gonna get every level of like, I don't understand that. What is that? How do I view this? How do I listen to this? How do I like when you travel the world? Like I remember we went to Namibia and I was confused because Tanzania wasn't the same, but Namibia, I never knew it was like so many fruit we never seen before.
Mm.
And the concept of how do I eat this? What is how do you open this? Like then I'm like, why we don't got this fruit? Like, but when you get into those conversations and
Mm-hmm.
when you think you know something, but you don't know anything, and
Yeah.
it strips, it makes you vulnerable because now I have to learn, now I have to pause. So we are in this. That's why every website look the same
Yeah.
because you don't want someone getting on your website and having to learn like how do I work this. If somebody got to think about how to work it, they're off, right? So we try to make everything easy, everything. So it's the flow. It's like either you have
Consistent.
the time, or the budget, or the intensity to introduce a new idea, to market a new idea. You got to have the staying power, and you have to believe in yourself enough to
Yeah.
create something today that's crazy today, but that will become normal tomorrow. You know,
Yeah, and yo, like we don't do things that we don't do things consistently um, that doesn't motivate us in some way. Because if you're constantly getting discouraged,
that thought has been kidnapped though. We don't do anything like it's not too many people that do things strictly to challenge society or to create.
very true.
Everybody's goal is, yo, I need to make some money.
Yeah.
So to make money, it needs to be relatable, it needs to be easy, it needs to be simple, it needs to be fast, it needs to be right now, it needs to be quick, right? So that's why it's fast food. When you introduce a new taste, when you introduce, like now that's a niche. I remember like when vegan food first came in, right? When I was in Georgia, and I remember when that niche. Now it's everywhere. Now the concepts are everywhere. Like, but like so, the few people that value creativity, the artists that create for creativity's sake, the people, the rappers that rap to extend the lifespan of hip hop, right? The poet that puts the quality that you have to find and tap into and listen to. That's why when you listen to music in the '90s, right, it was detailed, it was layered, it was real artistry that you had to like listen over and over and over to value the quality. Now, like nobody got the time for that. It's all fast food art, fast food music, fast food business, fast food everything, because the goal is to make money. To make money is fast, it's stripped down, it's easy to get, easy to understand, but only a select few values the art that took time to paint, value the creator that took time to create. So it's a different world, it's a different lane, it's different rooms,
Yeah.
right? And I would say life is a language and conversations control your destiny. So the person that don't even know how to see the creativity, forgive them for like it's the same thing. Like that's why like teachers and education is struggling because now these kids are adopting this fast food real mentality, and life is being fed to them like like in this 1 minute box. It's no
Yeah.
build up. It's no build up. It's no storyline. So a kid watching a movie is like they falling asleep because that dopamine hit from that instant gram. You
And
don't gotta wait for it. Right there, boom, somebody blowing up, somebody getting hit.
yeah.
Right. And it's like,
You get desensitized and you're in competition.
yeah,
Because if you don't move fast enough, someone else is. They're gonna leverage AI. They're gonna do all types of stuff, and then you just feel like, man, what's the point?
yeah.
unless you compete and you go fast and you try to do this, another get rich scheme or whatever it may be. And it like a lot of people aren't doing things that matter to them anymore. They either do things to um, impress others, to because they're comparing themselves, um, or they're doing things just on autopilot. And that's why I have the heart in most of the logos that I create, because I believe that there is the potential for each one of us to push something forward. You may not know what it is you want to push forward, but there's a potential for you to push something forward, whether it's an idea, um, a mission, some kind of vision that you have, a piece of art, and it might look differently. Like how you were mentioning the phone years ago, it looked different, but it's still the same concept. And there's been times where I'll create a whole business strategy and then timing makes it not relevant anymore. But I've realized that the concept is still the same. It's just going to look different. It's just now we're in the world of AI. We're in the world of whatever it might be, but there's something that you're pushing forward, or many things. There's something that I'm pushing forward. And I learned that the heart has an electromagnetic field. And when you're walking around and you're speaking about something that you feel passionate about, or and you're in an environment where other people don't see it, they don't relate to it, or they discourage it, that's literally breaking your heart, because you're breaking down something that someone is trying to push forward. And there's a potential that, depending on if you go to a different environment, that energy can be empowered and you can grow something that you actually love. Um, I just think that's a really interesting concept, because we often stay in environments that do not encourage. We just do things.
I'll speak to that. It's like you have to be willing to win. Let me see. Like, how could I format this right? Like, are you willing to win and be valuable, but not be valued
Mm.
until the value is understood and interpreted the way that you value it, right? Because it's like diamond mining has been going on since the beginning of time, and they're still finding diamonds today. So let's say, okay, this diamond has been in the ground for 10 million years, right? So when you just break down time, the longer it took for a diamond to be discovered, the more value it has today. Yeah. Same diamond. If they found this diamond a million or whatever many years ago, it would have been the value then. But the fact that it's okay now that we're digging and digging deeper and digging more, because how many, like, okay, is it any more diamonds left? Right? So I always say, never confuse the weight with your worth. Never confuse the weight with your worth. Like, it's a select few people that's looking for value, right? You just have to maintain that what I'm doing is valuable.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is worth doing, and don't compromise yourself, right? Because I always say the most expensive diamonds sit on the shelf the longest, and not because it's not valuable, but because people just walk by and they admire it, they stare. It's like, I don't have the value for exchange of that value, but I want to get something that looks just like that. And the diamond, imagine a diamond sitting there watching people walk past with diamonds that look just like it. Man, everybody wearing cubic zirconias. But it's like, okay, imagine being a diamond now. You had this value. You were so valuable, but you let this temporary emotion control you.
Discourage.
And now you're doing what everybody else doing.
Yeah.
You jump off
You
the shelf.
forgetting that you're a diamond.
Yeah, you jump off the shelf, and now you in the
Buy
hands.
me, buy me. I'm for
Yeah,
sale.
you in the hands of someone that could only afford a cubic zirconia, and now you're in a business. Now you're in a space, feeling like you're being mistreated because you forgot your value.
Yeah.
Is it the person's fault that's treating you the way that you rush to be treated?
You're for sale.
Yeah.
So
You know what I'm saying? You're for sale and you were willing to compromise. So now you're in the hands of somebody that don't appreciate you
yeah,
and you
you
complaining about the
complaining.
contract. You complaining about the environment
It's not enough.
and you didn't respect your own value first. So now you're
Woo.
doing something
That's
that you should
good.
have never been doing in the first place. You're
That's
in an environment that you should have never been in the first place. You're in a situation that you should have never been in the first place
yeah,
because you didn't respect your own value, right?
yeah.
The diamond is the diamond. The diamond is the diamond, right? So you have to know your worth and your value first.
How do you
Being discovered is just timing.
how do you do that? I know sometimes it can help when other people see some of your value and they can encourage you. Um, but how do you maintain the idea that you're worth it?
Now we unpacking. Like when we strip down value, whether we're saying like it's the artists that get the line that go,
Yeah,
ooh, I'm
yeah,
gonna kill him with this.
yeah,
It's the designer that designs and go, this is it,
yeah.
right? So think about whatever we value today, right? Whatever we value today. So when we talk about sneakers,
Hmm.
the designer that designed the Air Force One, like whatever, like because sometimes it's ideas that people don't even know the value of, and you're just designing and you're creating like you don't know that this is going to impact the world the way it's going to impact the world because everything that we value in its infancy was an idea. It started with the materials of the world, and the materials of the world don't give you the value, right? But if we're equating value to understanding that okay, value is a feeling, value is a thought, value is an emotion, value is an expression, right? Like, okay, I recognize this to be an energy,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes we sell that. Sometimes we're looking for that.
Mhm.
Think of this concept. Let's say, let's say I'm in a car, right? I'm in a 1987 Toyota. Head down. I'm embarrassed. I'm ducking. I'm low. I'm like, I don't want nobody to see me in this Toyota. But it gets me to point A, point B. It gets me to my destination. But I'm ashamed to be in this vehicle. But strip down the objects: rubber, metal, plastic, glass.
Same thing.
That's the vehicle. Boom, out of the blue, I'm in a Maybach.
Hmm.
I'm in a Rolls Royce. My head up, windows down, music blasting. I feel good about myself. You know what I'm saying? I feel good about myself. Now I'm confident. I'm stepping out. Everybody's looking at me. My life is different. But you strip the object: rubber, metal, plastic, glass.
Yeah,
I allowed the vehicle and the perception and the opinions of other people to give me this value that I didn't know how to give myself.
yeah,
Right? So if we say what is value and how do we maintain value, that I am what I allowed the car made me to feel, but remove the car, remove the position, remove the story. Can I maintain that value? Am I still that person? And if you are that person, because I always say every interaction is a transaction. If I am valuable, I can give it. If I am valuable, I can share it. If I am valuable, I can feed myself and I can feed others. But maintaining your value, if your value could be taken away, you are struggling with your value. If your value could be diminished because of the vehicle you're in,
yeah,
if your value could be diminished because of someone else's opinion, right? So whether we say, hey man, value is self-love, value is mindset, Value is, you know, honoring your being. Value is, you know, the inner conversations that you have with yourself.
Yeah.
Value is honoring your first house. You live in this body.
Mm-hmm.
Value is watching what you eat. And I'm not just talking about food, right? What are you taking into your eyes? What are you listening to? What do you allow in your environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that value we have, and we have to put boundaries around that value.
And we align a lot in that with that concept. I have this concept in my coaching practice where we do impression management,
Mm-hmm.
where we identify all the things that impress upon us
Mm-hmm.
and impress upon our hearts, whether it's an emotion, um, something that you watch on social
Mm-hmm.
media, and you try to figure out how you can maintain control over that and restrict, filter out so that you can be intentional about what you digest.
Mm-hmm.
Because digesting, like you said, isn't just about food. Everything becomes energy. Someone says something to you, you absorb that and it creates a sort of energy where now it becomes translated into I'm going to be angry back,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to be happy back. And that is um we often do that on autopilot. Um but I'm curious to I'm curious about what sort of emotional experiences do you desire the most?
What emotional experience do I desire?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean to feel?
Yeah, I can give you an example.
Yeah.
So, as an artist, I'm, the personality assessment that I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't taken it yet, but I believe that you are an artist and a hustler.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something else as well, but with an artist, you're motivated by being able to package an emotion and be able to deliver that emotion in a way that is in a way that can be experienced by others. And you externally are motivated by being able to see others experience the emotion that you've been able to package in a certain way, whether that be in a video format, in audio format, um, some sort of creative expression. Um, and I'm curious from your experiences and the things that you do on a daily basis, which ones light you up the most?
They all serve a different purpose. But that's the thing that I honor about life, because I extract every element from emotions that people may not value. Like I told you, my mother transitioned 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I valued what I was going through, you know, because it allowed me to be present without being paralyzed. And I honor my whole life. I honor my whole life. There's something that I said when I spoke at my mother's funeral, because my mother used to tell me, "I love you. This is why I'm hitting you. I love you." And right. And my mother wasn't this bad person. She was just parenting me the way that she was parented. It's a thought that I always communicate. So I realized once I woke up, literally because it happened in the morning, that I got the news, right? As I was waiting, because my mother lived almost hour and a half, 2 hours away. Okay, boom. Cause I was waiting to see what I was gonna do. Okay, boom. Got the call. Your mother transitioned. Here go another hit. And I realized how my mother's earlier hits prepared me, prepared me to be the man that I am today. So being thankful for the hits, being thankful for the twists and the turns, being thankful for the impact, being thankful for sparring with fear, being thankful for sparring with anxiety, pain, being molested at 6 years old, foster homes, mental health facilities, everything that I went through in life prepared me to be this person that I am today. Um, so I'm still going through the mourning process. I'm still processing it, but it is not anything that I am afraid of. I value going into those spaces where I'm just crying. I value going through those spaces where I feel lost. I value going through the spaces where I'm still trying to grasp the concept of my mother being gone. So life is a language. Pain is a language. Some people don't know how to speak it. Healing is allowing Healing is allowing your mind to catch up with your heart, right? And if you can put that into a visual, like I'm like neck and neck with my heart, like, oh, like some people go through a painful experience, they never want to feel it again. They heart lapped them. They're running from a feeling, they're running from an emotion. That's why we become depressed, right? Because we forgot about creativity, we forgot about purpose, we forgot about our dreams, and now all of these thoughts and ideas that are supposed to live through us because we are these antennas that's receiving signals. So now you don't even know who you're supposed to be. You don't even, like, you turned off your creativity. It's like a cell phone. So imagine turning your phone off today and you don't turn it on to next year, right? So you got TikTok messages, Facebook
Mm.
messages, Instagram messages. People are calling you. People are trying to get in contact with you. But now you try to turn this phone on. But now you get so many phone, so many messages, you overwhelm,
Yeah.
right? So that's what, like, our souls, our being, like, you turned off creativity. You turned off your purpose because of anxiety and fear. And it's like, I value it all. So even my answer to that, my mother's passing was so wealthy. Like,
Mm.
it was so much wealth of knowledge, right?
What did it teach you?
Uh, it taught me how to render my mother's life, because for so long I judged her, right? I judged what she didn't do, and how she didn't show up. And a few years before that, I learned how to, like, look at my mother outside of her being my mother. Sometimes we have superhero syndrome, and it's like we only know how to see our parents as our parents, but we don't know
Not
how
as
to see
humans.
them as a little girl, and what did she go through before she became my mother, right? That turned her into this person that showed up or didn't show up, right? And because we judge and because we minimize and diminish a lifespan, we don't know how to value people. So I have the opportunity to look at the lifespan, to look at what she produced, to look at the absence of emotions that I didn't understand in the moment, right? Because as parents, we look at our children and we judge them. We go, "Oh, you ain't do this right, and you didn't do this right," and we're talking to them today, not understanding that they're going to understand our words tomorrow. Your children have to have an aha moment. Ah, now I get what my mother was talking about, right? Because we're talking to them today with new information that it takes time for them to download. But we're judging them in the moment because they're not downloading it. We're judging our parents in the moment because we want them to feel and connect with emotions and feelings that the world took away from them, right? Empathy was stolen from my mother. Compassion was stolen from my mother. She couldn't give it to me, right? So that's why I judge my mother. That's where I was hurt. That's why I was stripped of this love and nurturing that I needed. So when I say, again, do I wish my mother could be here today? Of course. Do I wish I could have more experiences and more time? Uh, of course. But understanding life and having the opportunity to value life, understanding that we come, we go, and again, it's wealth when you can process that. Emotion is energy in motion.
Yeah.
Like, so mourning, pain does two things. It comes with impact and information.
Mm.
So, like, some people go, for so long. Some people are in pain for so long that they never extract the information. Like, again, when I say it was rich, and it is rich in information that I am processing, that I am downloading, and I'm able to just not be so selfish and go, oh, why this and why that? But I can understand. And even as I was looking at my mother in the casket, I said, thank you, right? Thank you for the life. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the pain. Thank you for the adversity. Thank you for the challenges, because they are who I am today. And if it was up to me, that's why we are not the creator. That's why we are not the person. If we was God, we would interfere with so many people's destiny. Think about how we raise our kids. Oh, don't let them fall. Don't let them do this. So many of us are created in our falls. So many of us are created through our adversity. If you move the fact that I didn't have a father, I don't know who I would be. If you remove the fact that I was molested and went through foster homes, my adversity, my challenges is 90% of who I am. Right? But if I was God watching me go through that, hey, stop, don't let this happen to him. Oh, don't let this happen to her. We would, like, think about if you could see the lifespans of generations. Like, not only can I see you, I could see your son, 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 son. So I could see why your adversity is going to motivate him, which is going to motivate him, which is going to motivate him. But then it's going to reach a level to where it hits a decline because it's going to create a weakness because there's no adversity. So the creator could see 10 of you. I could see you. I could see you. You are someone's great, 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 great grandfather.
Yeah.
And they don't even know you. They don't know nothing about you. But genetically, you're going to be connected to 10 different people. And I'm not so caught up on your lifespan, because I see the impact of what your life is going to do to 10 other people. You live tomorrow through your son. You don't die. Yes, your being, your existence, but no, your consciousness, your awareness, you live again through your son, 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 daughter, sons. It goes on. I am not so caught up in why you go why and no. I can tell you why. Because I need you to go through this, because it's information through this experience that you're going to pass down that's going to impact so many more generations to come.
How did you? All of that is very powerful, and thank
You're
you,
funny.
thank you for sharing. Seriously,
No, we got to think about that. And that's those weird thoughts that be like, we are antennas. That thought came from somewhere.
yeah,
Are you brave enough to say it?
yeah.
Maybe I may scare somebody to go, hey, he's not supposed to know that.
Mm.
That was beat out of them. That was their practices. That was their teachings. They once knew that. How did he get sent that? I said it. It's in the world now. It's a thought. Again, we're antennas.
How did you become so aware and present in the moment?
A dummy is always right because they don't have enough information to be wrong.
Mm.
Right?
I need you to unpack that a little bit.
Think about that. Right? A dummy is always right because they don't have enough information to be wrong.
Yeah, so they live in their ignorance.
Yeah, right. So the best thing that could have ever happened to me, that I learned nothing in high school. Right? So I never had the ego of a smart person. I never had the ego like I know everything. I don't know nothing. And I'm humble enough to learn. Right?
Mm.
Because sometimes when we become so smart and we think we know everything, we die. I'm alive and breathing and grateful to be humble enough to learn from my son, to learn from this homeless person, to learn from a tree, to learn from the death of my mother, to learn from a comment that was meant to insult me. Everything is my teacher. And because my antenna is up, whether you are a millionaire, whether you don't have a dollar, I value the fact that I can learn from everything and everybody.
So you've been able to set your ego aside in a way and say, I'm going to allow life to pass through me and I'm going to observe and I'm going to
and interpret it
navigate
and
and,
share it.
yeah, experience it,
Yeah,
extract information, and move on.
yeah. So again, there's a difference between being dumb and stupid, though, right? I grew up and I didn't learn in high school. I struggled academically, right? Because my behavior got me removed from environment, so I wasn't able to be quote unquote educated. So you could call that like, okay, I was dumb, right? But stupid is having access to all this information and everything. I'm stupid if I don't choose to learn, right? I grew up in an environment that didn't teach me much. And I once believed that I was a product of that environment, right? We have to understand that our environment is a product. Someone created it. Someone said, put this store here. Someone put the curriculum in the school that I was going to learn from, right? So we have to understand that we are bigger than our environment. We have to understand that we are bigger than this concept that we're calling us. And the minute you allow your antenna to open up to that, you could receive a signal that you won't be afraid of. And you could speak it into the world. To be okay with sounding dumb to somebody. I'm okay if you hear me and be like, man, what are you talking about? But somebody gonna hear me and go, man, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
And
I,
that's the paradigm shifts that we need. Once we all start thinking the same, because we are all downloaded the same information. So now once you take a whole neighborhood that all thinks the same, it's a few that slip through the cracks. And again, like I said, the best thing that could have ever happened to me, I was never indoctrinated. My mind is free, was free. I travel the world, I see the world differently, and I'm grateful.
so for someone that has that powerful mindset, I'm curious what um, would be some of the things that you would do if you didn't have any financial limitations at all. You don't have to worry about it at all.
That thought is interesting. Because I kind of live like that today, man. I never thought about money with me in mind. When I think of money, I think of the people I love. So I'm wealthy. Nah, like so. Even when, as you say that thought, cause simple stuff. Well, okay, and a nice car, house, okay, cool. But like I say, a car wouldn't do anything for me that I'm not. I'm already present in the value. Like I said earlier, I'm
Yeah.
already present in the value that I would have in the Ferrari. The Ferrari is not giving me the value.
Plastic,
The
rubber.
house ain't giving me the value. I'm already the car. I'm already the jewelry. I'm already the mansion. I'm already the diamond. I live that. I feel that. But it's no ego attached to that.
Yeah.
So again, I could talk. I love goodwill. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a humility in all of that. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm not ashamed because some people are offended with humble. My humility exists because I do live in the body of the person that once didn't believe in myself. I once was a slave to material. You know, I once thought I was dumb, ignorant, stupid, a product of my environment. I'm gonna die at 18. And I lived there longer than here,
Yeah.
mentally and emotionally. So I'm still so close to Junior. Junior is who my mother called me, family called me. You know, I know what it feels like to struggle academically. I know what it feels like to hear people talk and not get it. I know what it feels like to not know how to write, read, and I still struggle today, you know. But I have the humility of Junior,
Mm.
right? Because I'm in rooms that Junior never thought he would get into, you know.
So you're still inspiring Junior, and he's still influencing you in a way.
Junior inspired me, bro.
Mm.
Junior survived days I could never survive. Junior is the reason I'm here. Junior could have tapped out to the point I never existed.
And that's why you appreciate everything and you're grateful for
Yeah.
everything.
Junior is inspiring. Like when I think of Junior, when I tell you about them stories of neighborhood surviving, like I seen one of my friends melt in a stolen car.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like same body, same eyes, same mind. That's my I experienced that. So I'm not I'm not like in the clouds, man. So but again, I live like 16 existence because my wisdom, my insight at any given time, I could be in an environment with the most wealthiest people. But then I also fit in with people that don't know their value, but they're wealthy too, right? And it's that dynamic. I've been in rooms with the most wealthiest poor people, and then I've been in a room with the most poorest wealthy people.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's like you see people, and even like undeniable TV was that. Like when I was working in the hip hop space, like these young men that was so creative, so intuitive, so insightful, but didn't know their value.
Yeah.
And that's where we are today as a society and as a people. We are the diamonds. And again, we could get tangled into the concept of race and culture, religion, and it's all boxes.
Yeah.
So I could speak through the boxes, but I know I'll offend another box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay,
because not everyone is
yeah,
separates
yeah,
their identity and their
yeah.
egos the way that you do, and that's been beneficial for you.
It's a fight though.
It sure is.
Yeah. Because I've been through every fight that I found a solution for. I know it how it feels to live in that box.
For sure.
So I already know the feedback from the boxes because those boxes was me. I know I wouldn't like me 10 years ago. If I met me now,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to read me. But this me would know how to read that me. Oh, he need a hug. He's really crying inside. Oh, he's coping. He's defensive.
Yeah.
He's distant. Right? But I would confuse me. That's why I'm so grateful to be disciplined with what I know. Because it's dangerous to know what I know and to operate the way I operate. You know, even like when we talk about relationships, and I'm so grateful to be in love. I'm so grateful to be in love, and I'm so grateful to be kind, right? Because knowing what I know now, like, and like to be lust driven and lack discipline, I'd be so dangerous to females. I know more about females than they know about themselves. You know, but I'm on the good side. You know, and I
how do you apply those restraints when you know how dangerous you can be, but you choose to hold back a bit? Is it more so? Cause is it tied to self-preservation? Is it tied to preserving the security or perceived security that others have? Because people can get really emotional if you say a certain thing or do a certain thing. Or is it just different for different reasons? The restraints that you apply.
Now, for one, I don't even look at it as restraints. It's discipline, right? I always say relationships are nothing more than human behavior. If you show me the problem of a relationship, I'll show you the problem of an individual. So I am faithful to peace of mind. I am faithful to clarity. I am faithful to harmony, right? So because I'm in harmony, I'm in sync, I'm in alignment with myself, that I'm faithful to that, right? I feel every wrong thought. I feel every negative energy. And I don't want to live in that world anymore. So I hold myself accountable for every wrongdoing. I love going to sleep at night, quiet mind, and a balanced heart. I'm faithful to that. You know what I'm saying? So women don't have to worry about me because I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to run game. Like when I was controlled by lust, And when I was driven in that space, I had ulterior motives, I had intentions, and I wasn't in control of myself. But I value peace of mind.
It seems like you're very empathetic.
Definitely.
Where does that come from?
Uh, Again, my empathy comes from understanding what it feels like to be on the opposite side of the emotion or the emotions that people go through. I again, when I say I know pain, fear, I've been there. So I'm not here to inflict those experiences on other people. And that's why I can connect to people so deeply. And that's why I can create thoughts that connect to people so much. Because
Yeah.
it's like if I just move out of a house and you move in there and now I see you complaining, I'm like, I know it's a leak in the kitchen. I know the boiler was work. If I sold you a car and then now you selling it, I know the transmission was bad. They getting out of that car too,
Yeah.
right? I've been through those experiences. I operated the same way with the vehicle, and now I'm just on the opposite side. So my empathy comes from connecting.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's next for you, and what can people expect to see from you coming up?
Man, I always say you can't hold on and jump at the same time, but that's the thing, man. Like I could put it in these words, like I don't even care. And I just this is one journey where I finally like submit, man. I submit. I stopped fighting because I used to be so afraid of my potential. I used to be so afraid of my ability. So even my son was an example of that. How big he is and was and the things he did. And man, that was 30%. That was 30%. That wasn't even my son's full capacity. So I am getting out of my way of my limitations. I'm getting out of my way of my fear. And I don't think the butterfly knows what the sky looks like until like you start moving your wings. And I'm just start moving my wings, man. So I don't even want to know. Like people like, oh, they gotta go to a psychic and the psychic got the no, don't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I'm living it. Right. So people that follow my journey, we on this journey together and we live in it. So I could guess. But I'm living it, man.
Yeah, it'll take from the experience.
Yeah, I'm living it. I'm not so infatuated with what it's gonna be, how it's gonna turn. Like I already outdone, succeeded, bro. Like I made it past 18. Do you know
Congratulations.
I'm successful already?
Yeah.
Right?
Coming
Because
from where you
yes,
come
because
from.
that was it. Like we celebrated making it past
Yeah.
18.
Yeah. And
So
being out of prison.
so a billionaire, a trillionaire, I'm successful already.
Yeah.
Everything else is like icing on the cake, man.
I'm so happy to see your success, man. I'm very proud of you. Um, I'm glad that you're in my life and we can continue to build together. It's been
I appreciate it.
years.
Like we play with this content. We did today with magical, man. I think you got you got one of my best interviews, man. We just we
Yeah,
just we just we just flowed today, man.
I
So
love it.
this piece of content, I think it'll be historical for
Yeah,
you, for your platform, man. I'm proud of you. I want you to keep going, and I know you're gonna do impactful things to the world and for the world, and yeah, I'm proud of this interview today, man. Hopefully, people got to know me a little more, and that's the thing about exposure today. Yes, today some new ideas was introduced
yeah.
through this interview.
I and you know what's funny? We've had we've recorded
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
and every time there's something new.
yeah,
There's no script.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just talking to you.
yeah,
And that's just such a beautiful thing. And I appreciate you for being vulnerable. That's something that you're not, that's not foreign to you.
yeah,
However, I do think that we have good good back and forth.
yeah.
So I appreciate you being more vulnerable today and just providing this very valuable insight because you're not just helping me with this, you're
Mm,
helping so many people out there who are you,
mm,
just look differently or
mm.
do different things. So I appreciate that. Um, I can't wait for the next one. I really want you to take the assessment, and then we do another interview, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And for those who don't know, go to test.entremotive.com and you'll be able to take a free assessment where you'll be able to identify what you're truly motivated by and learn a little bit more about your motivation type as an entrepreneur, and then being able to also leverage your strengths and the strengths of others so that you can make intentional progress towards an ideal vision. So, without further ado,
Hmm.
this was great.
I heard so much stuff in this interview because like when you talking for the first time,
Yeah, yeah.
I heard so many clips and so many things that's like powerful, man. But thank you for the conversation, man, and thank you. I think we added to the world. So like I say, like people don't do things for like creativity's sake, conversation's sake.
Yeah.
I definitely think like we created that vibration for the world today.
I think you spoke from the heart. I spoke from the heart,
That's
and
that's, that's, that's a
it
norm
just
for me, man.
it
Like
just works.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
not many people do that.
Again, it's the boxers, man. They don't know they can, and being a representation of that, you add to that collective. Man. So we gotta let people know it's okay, man. It's okay. And I don't even know if the heart is the best place to speak from. The heart is like because it's a feel space, you know. So I always say like follow your heart, but make sure you bring your mind with you.
For sure.
It's a marriage.
Yeah. Your mind is a feedback system. It identifies different things that it needs to react to accordingly so that it can protect you. But the heart doesn't really care about the protection. It goes for what it desires.
Mm.
But so you do have to kind of work together.
Find a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. We'll talk for days.
Yeah, man.
We'll save some talks for next time. Dash Hudson, how can people find you
You
if
know,
they haven't already?
no, the thing
You're
about
pretty
I don't
popular
care
on.
about none of this stuff, man. I don't care about fame. I
I,
don't
I,
care
I
about.
know you don't.
So you're like, oh, how can people find you? Who are you, man? I don't know, man. I'm
All right,
just,
they'll
real.
find you if they find you.
Yeah, just I don't care. Like what I'm saying, like that's the whole thing. Like people ego tripping in this space. Like this stuff ain't about fame. Get to know me, look for me.
Yeah.
If you care, man, type the words.
Dash Hudson.
See it
You'll
when you
figure
see.
it out.
Yeah, like you know what I
All
mean?
right, cool. There you have it. Figure it out
Yeah. Seriously,
if
man.
you care.
Yeah.
All right. This was cool, man.